So following up the Carolina Hurricanes clinching video, we're going to talk about the New Jersey Devils clinching the playoffs. So that's a pretty nice follow-up. Anyways, the Devils are basically just behind the Carolina Hurricanes when it comes to standings. And even though I don't think it will happen, there is still a possibility that they could catch up to Carolina and take that first place spot in the Metropolitan Division. However, there are some stabilities, just like I had with Carolina, that we are going to talk about in this video. So first off, the team record. They have played 73 games, so one more than Carolina. They have a 46, 19, and 8 record for 100 points. They have scored 256 goals. They have led in 201. They are 20, 13, and 4 at home, and they are 26, 6, and 4 on the road. They've struggled a tad at home, but they're still having a pretty solid record there. They've been spectacular on the road, just lights out. And that's definitely something that, when you're playing as a team like the Devils, in the spot that they are, they're probably going to get home ice advantage. But, playing away in the playoffs can be very difficult for some teams. So 100% there, it's good to be good on the road when you're heading into the playoffs. Now, this is the overall core's first year of being in the playoffs. And when I looked at, the people that were in 2018, there isn't a lot. There's only 4, I believe, that are still on that team that went to the insane finals or the insane playoff run in 2018, or the insane run to the playoffs and then got knocked out in the first round. But anyways, ironically, that was my first year ever being in hockey. So I have experienced pretty much this entire Devils rebuild, and it's been kind of satisfying, and it's been good to see them be good this season and make it into the playoffs. So it's going to be fun to talk about them in the 4th season of me doing this. You start off here with their leading goal scorers. You got Jack Hughes, who the young forward is obviously healthy, fully healthy, leading the way for this Devils team. He's a 40-goal scorer. In 69 games played, he has 40 goals, 46 assists for 86 points, playing at an unbelievable pace. Definitely finally panned out to the level that Devils fans and honestly NHL fans thought he was going to be. Obviously, he faced a lot of that criticism, but he's definitely proven that wrong over the long stretches. I'm very proud of him for 100%. You next up here, you have Nico Hischier, who I do believe was a part of that playoff run in 2018, or the run to the first round in 2018. But he was not a prominent player. I believe he was a rookie, so he wasn't the captain. Completely different role 5 years later. 72 games played, 30 goals, 40 assists for 70 points. Obviously, he's having another spectacular season as well. It was often looked at that Hischier was one of those players that, he's a captain, but he doesn't put up offense. And he's kind of like a Jordan Staal, but he's better than Jordan Staal offensively, even like before this big season. But this season, he's definitely proved some of those doubters that thought that he wasn't that important of a player pretty wrong, which is definitely good to see. Third in scoring, you got Jesper Bratt, who obviously faced the rumors of offer sheets and stuff like that in the offseason. He was signed to a qualifying offer. We'll see how this offseason goes for the Devils because they have a lot of free agents that they got to deal with, 100%. They have 73 games played, 31 goals, 35 assists for 66 points. Another very solid forward there for the Devils. And notice the majority, and I'm pretty sure the top 3 here and the majority of the top 5, I think they're all under 25 years old. Apart from the 5th goal scorer, which we'll get into in here in a second, which is very remarkable to see this young team just flying out on all cylinders. And it makes me wonder what they're going to do in the playoffs, to be honest. Next up here, you have Dawson Mercer, who yet again in his sophomore season having another incredible year with 73 games played, 23 goals, 28 assists for 51 points. Obviously, Dawson Mercer wanted to have a good follow-up and avoid a sophomore slump, which many players in the NHL often face. However, Mercer is not a victim of that. So that's very fortunate there for the New Jersey Devils. And then the final goal scorer is actually a pretty pleasant surprise. It's Tomas Tatar with 73 games played, 17 goals, 24 assists for 41 points. Now, I believe when I talked in my 10-game winning streak video, because this team did win 10 games in, I believe, November or December. I'm not entirely too sure there, but I know they won games. So I definitely will factor that in here. I'll put the video right here as well. But one of the players who really wasn't a key part to that 10-game winning streak at all was Andre Palat. He was hurt. He was injured. And he was that big free agent that they brought in after they missed out on so many of those other players that were out there. And when Palat got hurt, a lot of people kind of ruled the Devils out of the playoffs. Myself included, in fact. I think I did that as well. I'm pretty sure I honestly had them at 7th again. And that's kind of where a lot of people generally had them because people like Columbus over them. But anyways, yeah, I do believe that, without Palat, this team with a bunch of young players, they have done a great job at, turning the tide and proving a lot of haters wrong 100%. But they still have a long way to go. Some other players that I thought were pretty notable that we didn't mention in the forward core. You got Eric Haula there as well. Haula in that 1-for-1 deal with Pavel Zacha. I've talked about before how that deal, and we talked about it on the Nordcast, how it was a win-win, more or less, and how it was actually a pretty good trade for both teams there between the Bruins and the Devils. So yeah, they both played very well in their respective teams. And then Yegor Sharangovich as well established himself as a very solid middle six forward. Definitely been one of my favorites for a very long time. If you've been watching this series, or not the series, the channel for a long time, you would know that. But yeah, Sharangovich, Haula, and Palat are the three other players that I think have been contributing pretty well to this Devils offense. You look at the defense, I got 4 defenders here, and it's been a pretty solid blue line, and Dougie Hamilton's been leading all that. With 73 games played, he has 19 goals, 49 assists for 68 points. He has been a very prominent, high-scoring player for the New Jersey Devils here 100%, and very solid defender. He will be in the talks for the Norris Trophy 100%, basically mainly because of his points, but he will definitely be in the conversation yet again, potentially another Norris. So we'll see. I don't think he's even won one yet, so I'm probably wrong. But anyways, you have Damon Severson next, another very solid defenseman. He was in trade rumors, however, he's definitely avoided that. With 72 games played, 6 goals, 23 assists for 29 points. Another really solid defender for the New Jersey Devils, 100%. You got Jonas Siegenthaler, who when he signed that pretty big contract, I was like, what? But people said that he was a very solid defensive defenseman, and he's shown that this season. With 72 games played, 3 goals, 16 assists for 19 points. And I would like to mention, too, that I have watched 11 Devils games since January. So I kind of know what I'm talking about here with this team. I have watched them more than I've watched any other team. If you've seen my TikTok where I talk about how many games I've watched for each team, I'll probably make a YouTube video about it at the end of the season as well. But anyways, I do want to throw that in here. And then last but not least, you have Ryan Graves with 70 games played, 6 goals, 16 assists for 22 points. So that does it for the offense and defense. You look at their deadline acquisitions and rookies. We'll start off with Timo Meier. Obviously, Meier was acquired in a really steal trade for the New Jersey Devils. Very good deal for them in hindsight. Meier this season, 12 games played, 4 goals, 2 assists for 6 points. Took him a little bit, but I think he's finally getting into the rhythm of Devils hockey 100% there. And that kind of is how it is with some of these players. It takes a while for them to adjust. And Meier has definitely taken a little bit, but so far through the last couple of games, he's been all right. So we'll see what he will bring in the playoffs. And as for your rookie, you have Alexander Holtz. Apart from, I believe, 2 other rookies, you have Tice Thompson and Nikita Okichuk. If I said that right, I probably said that wrong. But Holtz this season been disappointing. There's really no question here that he has not been to the Devils level that they wanted him to be. 19 games played, 3 goals, 1 assist for 4 points. Very solid rookie, but has not played to the rookie standards that we thought he was going to be. He was, amped up to be a really solid player, but he hasn't been so far. And again, it takes a while for some players to develop, so I'm not gonna shut him out here yet, but definitely not a solid season so far out of him, and he obviously hasn't played a lot either, so that definitely plays a role. You look at their goaltending, which has been a very good, and it's been a very good problem for a while the past couple of years. And honestly, some Devils fans do believe that if they had solid goaltending in previous years, they could have made the playoffs. But this year, they've finally gotten a taste of semi-solid goaltending, where you have Vitek Vanacek with 46 games played, a 29-9-4 record with a 2.49 goals against average and a .909 save percentage. Vanacek been a very solid player for the Devils and solved this goaltending problem 100%. Shout out to Mackenzie Blackwood, though, 18 games played, 9-5-2, a 3.04 goals against average, and a .900 save percentage. Honestly, he's been one of those players that, when you look at with the vaccine and stuff and obviously all that, but he's been kind of, profiled to be, kind of forgotten and, a bust type of player, but he hasn't been so far very solid. Not a bad season for the Devils whatsoever. And then they got Akira Schmid, who is now in the AHL. I don't know why they sent him down exactly, but I kind of get it, I guess. You want to give this guy some time to develop. And if you have to, you call him up for playoffs, but I doubt they will do that unless if Vanacek or somebody gets hurt. Schmid this season was 17 games played, so I don't know if he's breaking the rookie standards yet. They're really weird. 17 games played, 8-5-2 record, a 2.24 goals against average, and a .918 save percentage. Definitely showing some bright futures there in Devils goaltending. And honestly, when you realistically look at that, that most likely means come the offseason, come the end of his contract, Mackenzie Blackwood could be the goalie that is out. So yeah, that's a discussion for another time. But you look at their injuries, they only have Jonathan Bernier, and Bernier has been running off to probably be pretty much done with his NHL career. He might come back and fight for another season yet again, but I doubt it. I don't think he's played, to my knowledge, this season. When you look at playoff opponents, you got basically two. You got the New York Rangers, who I think is probably a lock for them to play. Honestly, the Islanders are too far behind to catch up. But the scenario where they would probably play the Islanders would be if they caught up to Carolina and got that first place in the Metropolitan. Although I don't see that happening. I see the standings staying the same as I said in the Carolina video. I see the standings staying pretty much deadlocked the same. But it is a possibility, and then obviously you can factor in, Pittsburgh and Florida in there too. But I really can't see any of that happening. But anyways, that'll do it for the Devils clinching a playoff spot. We'll see what they do in the playoffs. They're also a very young team, so that definitely plays a role in, where they could go in the playoffs and baby steps. That's constantly what I'm going to say with the Devils. But anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you all very much for watching. For all of your support, I really do appreciate it. As of right now, I'm not sure if I'll be making a Maple Leafs video tonight. I might be, but start of the third right now between Florida and Ottawa. So we'll see if Ottawa can hold on and get the win. If so, the Leafs will clinch, and we'll see a Leafs playoff clinching video in the coming days. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next video. Adios.